Hey guys, SlySonic7 here, and today we're going to be continuing on our MyGM mode. I know we had the draft a while ago where we redrafted, now we're part of the Memphis Grizzlies, and just a quick recap because I know it's probably been a while here. So if we take a look at our team, we have Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Reggie Miller, Robert Parrish, Sam Cassell, and then off the bench we have Kyle Korver, Mike Dunleavy, Rudy Gobert, Hershey Hawkins, Avery Bradley, and then all the other people. So I thought it'd be really fun because we had drafted the team and really started out to actually really take this team for a spin. So we have our first game of the year against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and here we go. And if you see here really quick, the game is actually only rating us as the 15th best team in the league, which means that we are literally average and we should make the playoffs as like an 8 seed. So keep that in mind for what the game thinks of us.
The official start of the new NBA season. I'm Ernie Johnson, excited to be here once again with Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay, so if we take a look at the starting five, they're going with a Rondo, Vince Carter, Jabari Parker. I couldn't get the rest of it. So let's see who we got here. Oh, they got Artis Gilmore also. Okay. Alright, so we get the ball first. Here we go. Barkley's got the ball. Don't want him handling the ball right now. So we got Reggie Miller to the right. I'm just going for it. Reggie for three. Parrish! Damn it! Oh, Barkley's got it. There we go. First possession. 2 or 3 misses. Doesn't matter.
Rajon Rondo is out there with Carter. Then there's Parker. Then there's Andre Drummond. And it's Stoudemire in at the 4 slot. Now here's
okay, so whenever I cover Rondo, I actually love to really give him some space just because I know that he cannot shoot to save his life. Unless it's a layup. Alright, he's got it. Jabari. Damn it. I made everyone jump for a block there. Let's go. We got Scottie in the break. Giving it back to Barkley. Terrible, terrible. And then Reggie. Yes! Alright, Reggie Miller for 3. We're going to be doing that a lot this year. So here we go.
It's a 5-point game. Outplayed in the previous game on their schedule, losing to Chicago.
And they had to be sensational defensively on that night to compensate for the fact that they just couldn't find a rhythm offensively. Would be.
Alright, so I think it'd be really, really good to actually kind of up front say like what my goals are for the season here. So I know like whenever you do one of these things, it's always fun, and the goal is always winning championships, and obviously ours is no different. I think if I want to think even one level more about that, though, I think I want to have some specific goals. Is that we have Reggie? Okay. We have a lot of very good players, as is every team in this mode, obviously, because there's all the legends in it. I really want to see if we can get 3 All-Stars on this team. That would be really, really cool to say that we have 3 of the 15 West All-Stars. Or 12, I guess. So which is even harder. I want someone to win MVP. I don't know who it will be, and I think it really just depends on like how the games kind of flow with me. Because obviously, like playing previous games like NBA 2K14, NBA 2K15, things like that. Like I never got to play Scottie Pippen or Charles Barkley or Reggie Miller just because they were retired by like almost 20 years by then. So as a result, like it's a very cool experience for me to be able to play as these players I never got to before. But as a result, obviously, I have no idea what their strengths and weaknesses are really for how I like to play. Because obviously I know like with Scottie Pippen, like a big strength is going to be defense and things like that. But like, for instance, there like I tried and I got it right in the middle of his 3, but like it just clearly did not work out. But Scottie defending the guy got a very great stop there. So it's just like you take the goods with the bads. And Reggie missed again. I'm also not opposed to 100% blowing up this team mid for the season even if we keep winning, like if it's just not flowing the way that we want it to. So like, for some reason, I know Reggie is an unbelievable 3-point shooter, and obviously if you talk about like number-wise has the 2nd most made in the history of the NBA. But if for some reason I just don't click with his shooting motion, oh, down low, Parrish, let's go, dunk it. Are you kidding me, Parrish?
The Cavaliers have gone 50% from the field to this point.
If for some reason it just doesn't jive with me, it's like I might consider just completely swapping it, which I think is fine. the benefit of this is that because there's so many stars, you can always kind of flip one 90-something player for another 90-something player. Another thing is that I want to play like 4-minute quarters just so it's a little bit shorter. Just because I know how it can take a lot of time. Oh, they have Prime Amare also. That's what I didn't realize they had. Oh, Cassell. 87 free throw rating. I love it. That's just the slowest meter right there. You just let it go and boom. Okay, so tied going into the second quarter. Oh, wow, I thought that was an inbounds. Oh, they have Moody Eye on the bench. That's kind of a cool one. It's a really interesting thing how they do this, how you actually mix your Hall of Famers with your current players and rookies, and you really see where they'd be. So, like, obviously, like a guy like Steph Curry or LeBron is going to be, you know, starting on a team. But the interesting part is that guys who are even older in the league, so say like Kobe or even LeBron and Wade and guys like that, like they're old enough that this game made prime versions of them, which is like really, really interesting. But like LeBron right now in 2K, I want to say is rated like a 97 or something like that. But obviously there's like 99 LeBron or 98 LeBron. I think that it's 98 because I think they scaled it down so no one's a 99 except for the prime Jordan. Okay, so we got Dunleavy Korver. Oh my god! I got destroyed. Okay, this is the unit I'm really excited for. There was the bench. So let's see, we got Kyle Korver here. Alright, Kyle, let's go. Give me a nice pick. Just run it.
Kicks it to Gobert.
Kick it out. Hershey Hawkins. Boom. Okay. This bench unit is going to do my most damage. And it's kind of sad because I love shooting threes in this game. That a lot of my main guys, so think Scotty. Oh, go Kyle. Okay. But I think Scotty, think Barkley, and, well, Reggie is obviously a three-point shooter, and Cassell can do it okay, but like most of my starting lineup is not meant for three-point shooting. And that makes it harder to execute the offense the way that I want. It means that whenever I have my starting lineup, I really need to prioritize a lot more passing and things like that to really open up the download looks. Kind of like I'm doing for Gobert to Barkley. That kind of worked nicely with the timing. But yeah, no, the timing is going to be so much more important with that starting lineup, just to make sure that I actually have the right passing and the right things are happening. But once I get to this bench unit, it's really just going to be threes. And then me having Gobert literally jumping on the block button every single time they get down low. Oh, Pippen's back in already? I didn't even get to enjoy like a minute of that bench unit. And then Reggie's back in and all of them. That sucks. Strangely enough, Gobert's still in there. Okay, Scotty Duncan. There we go. So, to kind of time date this, because I know like sometimes I make the videos and they don't come out for a little bit. I am filming this on a Sunday, first Sunday in April. The Warriors are now, what is it, like 68-8 or something crazy like that. Oh no, Pippen's gonna miss that. Oh, Pippen made a 3. There's hope for this team yet. Okay. And I read this article this morning about how Scottie Pippen said how this team, like the Warriors team for this year, would get swept by the 96 Bulls if they play. And I just want to take a second to talk about that, just because while I do think that the 96 Bulls are probably one of the, if not the most complete team in NBA history, they didn't sweep everyone in the playoffs when they went for their championship, and I would argue that this Golden State team is better than any of the teams that they played in those playoffs, including the Supersonics, who had 67 wins that year. So it's just, as a result, like I just don't know how you can proclaim that we're going to sweep unless you want to just try to sound tough. But in the end, like it just sounds like a very unsubstantiated, unsubstantiated claim that I don't really buy what you're telling me at that point. There you go, Reggie. Oh my God, my mascot is dope. But yeah, no, as a result, like I can't take it seriously when you tell me that you're going to sweep the team that will either finish with the best regular season record ever or the second best regular season record ever. Oh my God, Cassell wide open. There we go. And like as a result, like I find it to be this really annoying thing about how people always live in the past and say like 20 years ago that, you know, like the game was so much better than it is today, and like that's why I don't watch the NBA or blah blah blah. And to me, it's just nothing gets accomplished by this because no one can ever prove the point either for or against. And oh, nice, Scotty. And as a result, it's just I know that it's our favorite thing to do in sports is to say that, hey, you know, is this team the best ever? And you know, the best ever to me means could this team beat literally every other team in NBA in like history? I don't not necessarily just the NBA, but like in history. And I don't. It's hard because obviously there is a best by the definition of best, but to me it's not so easily discernible. Like obviously, like the three teams who I'd be talking about would be in the best consideration of all time are the 96 Bulls, the current day Warriors, and the 86 Celtics. Those to me are the top three teams who have ever played basketball. Now, but to decide who would win those, like, you have absolutely no idea because the 86 Celtics swept Jordan the Bulls, but it was before Pippen ever got there. And then obviously by 96, they have Rodman, they have Steve Kerr, they have Tony Kukoc, they have all these different guys that 86 Bulls team obviously never had, that you wonder, like, you know, what would happen if the 86 Celtics ever actually had to play them. But obviously there's that whole point, like, you can never know this stuff, but for what it's worth, and obviously this is an opinion in the simple fact that nothing I say or nothing that anyone has their opinion of can really ever be proven. Wow, Scotty is just killing guys on the dunks. For what it's worth, I would say that the 86 Celtics were the greatest team to ever play basketball. The biggest reason for me is they did something that was true. I've never seen a team do. And obviously I say this as someone who was born after 86, but got to watch a lot of clips on them, got to read a lot about them. They are the... To me, though, the 86 Celtics were actually the first team who, as the game went on, their shots actually were closer and closer to the rim. So what I mean by that is that, like, so say you started the game by just shooting threes, and you're like, you know, threes have been going great for us, right? Eventually, what they did is they got so many people to be biting on the threes that they started moving in about 2 feet at a time. And throughout the game, they're moving in foot by foot by foot until eventually you have all 5 people, like, equally distributed, passing the ball around to where shots are coming out from under 10 feet away. And what that did to teams was that it stifled them because they realized that they did not have any real, like, room to be, like, containing them. Because before you knew it, they were kind of like running you over, getting closer and closer shots. Obviously closer shots more accurate, and it turned into one of those things that, like, was very, very difficult for everyone to stop. The other metrics for when I'm obviously going to try to compare the teams are the 86 Celtics. I knew I was going to like having Corver on this team. The 86 Celtics and the 96 Bulls both had identical 15-3 playoff records. And the reason why it's 15 and not 16 is that back in the 80s and the 90s, the first round was still a best of 5 and wasn't a best of 7 like it currently is. And as a result, you know, that gives us a great metric to be saying that, like, you know, once the playoffs came around, regardless of 72 wins, 67 wins for the 86 Celtics, they both did the same against their big competition, and they both had very strong competition. The 86 Celtics went through Jordan's Bulls in the game where Jordan dropped 63 points, which is still tied for the playoff record for points in a game, beat him to where Larry Bird was so amazed, he said, that we were playing a game against God today, except he disguised himself as Michael Jordan. and they still, to what Larry Bird is saying, beat God in that game. So, I mean, like, that's kind of a cool thing to say. Their final was against the Showtime Lakers, so obviously one of the great teams to ever play. And overall, they did not lose any game by double digits, which is pretty cool. The 96 Celtics had their normal litany of opponents. You know, you had the Pacers, you had the Knicks. They swept the Magic, which was a really kind of cool moment because the year before, because everyone always says that Jordan never lost the playoff series, which is almost true in the 90s. Jordan never lost a playoff series in the 90s, sorry. Which is almost true. But when he came back from baseball midway through the second year, he came back for the playoffs. He was still wearing 45 that year. And they played against the Magic and Shaq, and they beat the Bulls, went on to the finals and lost to the Rockets, and I want to say 6 games to Hakeem. And you know, that was the only 90s playoff loss that Jordan never had. And so it came to the next year and they're playing against the Magic again. People say, you know, what will happen? Do they still have a number? And I mean, I can look this up right now because we're actually winning by a good amount. But I want to say that they just swept them, which was pretty awesome to say that, you know, you really took it that much to heart to the point where, like, you wanted to make sure that, like, you could embarrass them the next time you played. Okay, so we got Korver down to Hirsch. There we go. So I'm looking it up right now, and the Bulls swept their first round against the Washington Wizards. Then they...
And at the end of the third quarter, a huge lead in this one may already have been decided.
Then they won in 5 against the Atlanta Hawks and won in 5 against the Miami Heat. Wait, this doesn't look right. This is the 97 team. Whoops. Okay, 95-96. This should look a little bit more realistic. Because I'm reading these, I'm like, these are none of the teams I just said. So I got it here. So they played Miami in the first round and swept them. Then they played the Knicks in the second round and won in 5. And then they ended up playing the Magic in the conference finals, where Shaq was trying to get back to the finals for the second straight year. And wow. And they swept them. Yep. And these weren't just little wins. These were just like they destroyed them. This was 121-83, 86-67. Like these were like big games. But then they finished it all off against the 67-win Seattle Supersonics, led by Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. Which, if you want to talk about an all-time team, that's borderline one of the top 10 teams to ever play basketball, which is pretty cool. And so as a result, like obviously I can't say that neither of them is going to be deserving of the title of best ever, but I think it obviously will come down to, for the Warriors, that let's just say hypothetically the Warriors right now are 68-8. They need to win 5 of their last 6 games to set the all-time regular season record. And as of right now, let's just say that they get it. Let's say that they win 5 of the 6 games, so they get 73 wins. If they do worse than 16-3, then to me it doesn't seem nearly as impressive as what the Bulls did in '96. And by that I mean that, let's just say for instance that right now their first round matchup is supposed to be the Utah Jazz. Let's say they sweep the Jazz, second round, play the Clippers, and the Clippers eke off like maybe a game, probably 2, but let's, for the argument, call it a game. Wow. Then let's say that, you know, you get to the Western Conference Finals, and then there's the Spurs. I don't think they're going to beat the Spurs in like 5 games, or maybe I think even 6 games may be hard to understand, but let's call it 6 games. So as a result, before even getting to the finals, they're 12-3, and that's assuming that they only lose 1 game to the Clippers and lose none to the Jazz and all that. That means they would have to sweep the finals, which is most likely Cleveland, to win. And while I know that sounds believable because they've been destroying Cleveland this year, Cleveland was up 2-1 in the series last year without Kevin Love and without Kyrie Irving. So just to say that they would go down completely without a fight, to me, doesn't sound 100% realistic. So as a result, like, I don't know if this Warriors team can match that kind of postseason dominance that the other two great teams have had. And that, to me, will be one of the ultimate differentiators between this team and those teams, is not just did you win a lot of games in the regular season, and basically which means did you beat the teams you're supposed to beat. It's that when you get into the playoffs and you're playing teams that aren't easy to beat, did you consistently beat them as well? So, time will tell on that one for sure. Defensive 3-second, my bad. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap up our first game. So, we won 67-36. Player of the game, Scottie Pippen. Good amount of points, not a whole lot of rebounds or assists, but for this team it really did the job. We nearly doubled the opponent, obviously. This has been SlySonic7. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one of our MyGM playthrough.